The Philippines Open was played recently, so I felt inspired to post a video about my admiration for Filipino players. And the first thought that comes to mind is that I've always been a person that supports the underdog. I love underdog stories, and what I mean by underdog is people who don't have a lot of resources, they don't have a lot of support, they come from humble beginnings, um, but they have love and they have admiration and they have grit, and that drives them to excel in whatever it is that they choose to pursue. And the Philippines is is the greatest country in the world for pool. In this particular tournament, I believe, like the final 16, I think 10 of them were from the Philippines. Even though a Filipino player did not end up winning, many of their players advanced deep into the field, and you got to see a lot of young talent advance in the field. And then I got to see a lot of players that I had never heard of advance deep in the field. And I've been following pool for 25 years, and some of these players I've never heard of them. And some of them were a little bit older, but just world-beating quality of these players. And the thing that if you've ever Google searched and watched matches on YouTube of matches played in the Philippines, a lot of times they're playing on a boat dock. They're playing in a space where there aren't even any walls. So you know that the humidity has to be around 90%. And they're not playing on the greatest equipment. They don't have the best cues. They don't have the best cloth. The rubber isn't great. They're playing in really, really difficult conditions, and they're drawing the cue ball an amazing distance on the table. The stroke, the technique that they have is just amazing. So one is the playing conditions that they're confronted with. The second thing is the poverty. The Philippines is one of the poorest countries in the world. In America, even people that we consider poor are wealthy compared to the Philippines. You kind of have to recalibrate your idea of poverty when you think about the Philippines, because when they come over here and play in a tournament and make, I don't know, $1,000, $5,000, that's a huge windfall, not just for them, but if they send any of that money back home, that can sustain a family in the Philippines for a while. And I'm not pointing that out to condescend to them. My intention here is pure admiration, because when they play, they're playing for survival. Like Earl once said, professional athletes in America, like with team sports, they get paid to play. Pool players get paid to perform. And for a Filipino player, it's for survival, literal survival. That's why Earl said that Efren, the reason why he never gave up, because he had an extra reason to perform. It was very important for him to win as much as he could, for reasons outside of the game. Now you could criticize these guys by American standards by saying, hey, if things are that bad, you should just go out and get a real job. Well, in the case of the Philippines, that's not always an option. Sometimes for these guys, pool is all they have. So that's an added motivation. And I want to share a story that I read about Dennis Orculio. And if this is wrong, or if you can fact check me, please do. But they said when Dennis Orculio was coming up in the pool ranks, that he would sleep in a chair, and that he would eat. They would take chicken bones. This is a dish in the Philippines. He survived on chicken bones being boiled. And it would boil the bone marrow, the nutrients from the bone marrow out of the bone. And then they would eat that with rice. It was like a porridge. There's a Vietnamese dish that's similar to that. But that's what Dennis Orcullo survived on. So that's the type of poverty that I'm talking about. And so I'm always inspired and I love and root for people who have that kind of hardship, but they're still able to perform at something at a high level. I draw a lot of motivation off of that. The other, just as an aside, the other connection that I have to the Filipino community, especially here in Houston, because there's a lot of Filipinos in Houston, is that I'm a Catholic man, and the Philippines is a Catholic country. And so I have a lot of Filipino friends that are Catholic, and during the pandemic, it was, it's hard times everywhere, but there was especially hard times in the Philippines. So a lot of, I have a friend that's a musician, and they put together a benefit concert for the Filipino community, and I'm a videographer, so I filmed their benefit concert to raise money to send back to the Philippines for, and it was a relief concert for the pandemic. So I have two connections to the Philippines: my faith and, of course, pool. But I'm always looking out for and pulling for Filipino players in pool. Can't help but love them. So those are my thoughts. If you have any comments, just leave them. Hope everybody's doing great. That's all I got.